Evening, Gasheads, and welcome back to another episode. Apologies, this is out a lot later than expected. I'm sure most of you who've seen the retained list video I did a few weeks ago said that this would be out a few days after that, but I've had a bit of fever, man flu, whatever you want to call it, sort of the last few weeks. I've had such a bad cough as well, so I didn't really want to do it and then be coughing the whole way through. So yeah, apologies, it's out a lot later, but yeah, lots of things to discuss. Of course, we're going to be obviously going on and talking about next season already, recruitment, giving our ratings on players. Yeah, and to be fair, if there isn't anyone that obviously is watching it and they don't want to, I'm not really surprised because there's already been a comment from Matt Bray saying, just want a break from Rovers, catch you next season, because obviously it is, going to be, it's sort of been a good thing that we've left it a bit, because if we'd have done it when I said we would, especially after, me and Neil and a lot of Rovers fans both going to the Wigan game and how poor it was, it's sort of nice to have that break because of how frustrating it is. But yeah, please do hit the like button if you're watching live or if you're watching back on the replay. If you're watching back, do leave your thoughts in the comments. Do leave us any questions. And if you're watching live, then please do get your questions in and get all your comments in. We're going to be getting a lot of your interaction as well, so please do comment, and we'll go into those. And yeah, it should be a good one. Lots to talk about. Like I said, do subscribe as well. There's gonna be plenty more content in the next few days, weeks, and months, of course, leading into next season. Plenty of episodes when we sign players, whenever that will be. We haven't really been linked to anyone so far. I know a few clubs have made additions and so, but yeah, do subscribe, hit the like button. Liking the video always helps us. Always. We've got FanHub at the top of the screen. If you haven't already, do join that. Use the code to join FanHub, and also follow the socials as well, because I know a lot of people have said to me when I've seen them in person that notifications are a bit crap on YouTube, which they are. A lot of people don't get them. So if you want to know when we're going live or when there's a videos, then follow us on Insta and Twitter. But Neil, how are you? How have you been since the season's ended? Obviously, been in other away ends at various arenas.
Yeah, mate, I'm all right. I'm more than happy for it to be all over, to be honest. I'm quite enjoying not having anything to do with Rovers at the minute.
Yeah. To be fair, I am as well. Like I think, it was so draining. Honestly, the amount of people that kept commenting under, even like reactions after games, like the last few games, and like they were like fair play. Because if I'm honest with you, if I didn't have a channel, like literally, I wouldn't give anything because it was so crap. But yeah, even into Tom Butler, Chris Collier, Charlie BR28, and Ford and Blue. Like I said, do get involved. But I want to ask you one question before we get into it properly. And obviously we'll get into the various managers and stuff like that, and their, what we thought of them this season. Of course, Mangan, Barton, and Taylor. But I want to just get your thoughts in a few sentences. What did you make of last season, the whole season, like as a whole?
It was I don't know, how do you sum it up in a sentence? I don't know, but it was just I don't know how you word it, to be honest, but
Lots of words, isn't it?
It was all over the place, wasn't it? Because it was sectioned, wasn't it? The season was sectioned, completely sectioned. There was no continuity to anything. It was just a mishmash of hoping for the best. You had the follow on from a season that sort of petered out really early again under Joey. He evaluated the season before, decided that he wanted to go into the following League One season with players that were, rough, tough, competitive, and go and win a battle that way. And that's what he thought we needed to go and, have a better stab of another League One season. Missed out on Jono, which was going to be his sort of marquee signing for the summer to get us firing at the top end of the pitch after building around him. Obviously, recruiting Connor Taylor, etc. Everything was looking like it was going to be positive. John, I think, falls through. New ownership, etc. Them and Joey don't see eye to eye. He inevitably leaves the football club. Mangs hangs around for a bit. Players want him. Board don't. Fans want players to be happy with Mangs. But is Mangs the right man for the job? Never done it before, etc. We're sort of lingering in the middle of no man's land. Who's going to come and help us out and get this group to where we think they can be? Matt Taylor comes in. For me, addresses the group all wrong. They don't take to him. We fall flat on our face and finish. What do we finish? 16th, something like that. 15th, 16th.
Yeah, 15th.
Well, the way to evaluate it for me is our football season was over in January. We didn't have a full season really. It sort of come crashing to an halt in January. There was nowhere to go. We was never going to go up, never going to go down. And we sort of pissed in the wind a little bit with a load of players that weren't happy with the bloke in the dugout. And now we're seeing the crux of if you're out of contract, you can pretty much leg it.
Yeah, pretty much. Even into Jason as well. Even in lads, time to rebuild. Time to rebuild here is at last. Yeah, I mean that's a really frustrating thing. It always seems to be that. Whether it's under Barton, it was under Dowell in the past, whether it's now going to be Taylor, it always seems to be a really big change, which doesn't help at all, of course. Even into Ben, are we looking forward to pre-season? Well, I said that, I mean, we said it last season after it's very similar in a way. I mean, not as much madness last season to this season, whether all the changes in and around the club and stuff. But if you look at like league positions and points and losses, it's pretty much the same. And how it last season was the same. It pretty much ended in January. So, and we went into pre-season, like we'll get into it more, but we went into pre-season with, and while we're in pre-season, we were playing well, performances were good, etc. And then it just comes to the season, and it's just pretty much the same stuff. What happens? But I'll go through some stats. I've done a lot of homework and stuff on, but we'll look at this season. Of course, 15th, 16 wins out of 46 games, 9 draws, 21 defeats, and 57 points. That's now 42 league defeats in the last 2 seasons in League One, which is a shambles. Nowhere near good enough. Of course, we did manage to get 4 more points this season than we did last season. But last season, we finished 2 places lower. I think we scored 5 goals more than this season, but we conceded 5 goals more than this season. So, very, like I said, very sort of similar. And Ford and Blue saying, after seeing what the league's going to look like, I'm fearing the worst. Can only see a relegation battle. Yeah, we'll get into it later. But I done a post last night on Twitter, and a lot of people are not looking forward to that. But we will get into it. Yeah, Ben saying new season, new rebuild up to 15 new players. Yeah, I know. Even into Kelly saying, cheer up, lads. I live all the way up here in Bolton. Yeah, it must be. Yeah, a lot of Bolton fans must be still crying from that game on the weekend, because that was appalling. But thing is, if we get started, like I said, I think a lot of signings, when we seen the signings come through the door in the summer, I think a lot of people were optimistic more than others. Like if you look at me, for example, I predicted us to finish 6th. Where did you predict us to finish? Was it 9th or 10th?
9th. I had us at 9th.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, that what we've seen when we done our season preview and stuff like that in various videos and looking at Rovers fans on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, I think a lot of people were optimistic. I think I think this, and I still believe it now. I still think the signings were good. Maybe looking back at it, and even then, like maybe we signed again a few too many. Like Barton used to do. He used to sign a lot of like older players, like if you know, Wilson like was fair enough. Obviously, he's had a few injury issues this season, but you look at last season, he played pretty much every game. I know Hunt has, struggled as well, but he is a quality player. But I think a lot of people, I mean, obviously Ben put that comment as well, but I think I agree with what Tom said. I think we were all rightly optimistic, whether you hated Barton or whatever. I think a lot of people, and even looking back at it now, like would you agree? Like even now, like we had a good squad going into it, like that should be fairly sort of, I mean, in the end, we were comfortable, but I think it was quite rightly to see a lot of people optimistic with the signings we made, even though some people might say Barton done a good thing that he used to with his wording and stuff like that. But I still agree that on paper we had a good squad and we signed well. Do you agree?
I think the squad that got built in the summer that Joey put together was ultimately over the course of the season is massively underperformed.
Yeah.
I think our points tally is significantly better if we get the Jono deal done. I know Chris Martin's done what he's done, and God knows where we'd be if we didn't sign him as an afterthought. Yeah. But I think we. This is me just personally. I think I know he is what he is, and he says what he says, and he's not everyone's cup of tea, Joey. And but I think if we'd have persevered with him. And I think if we'd have persevered with him, he doesn't do his own thing. He doesn't say the things he says. He doesn't go on because he just wouldn't do that because he'd be under contract of a football club. I just think we'd have probably been a little bit better off purely because those players would be happier. They'd be in a better, happier environment and they'd perform a little bit better. They'd be in and around thing. I think the Collins thing probably, if he does go, you get more money for him. Because he's probably more than happy to go and have a good go at it under Joey. I just think there's certain fine margins and little areas where it's all hindsight because another day Taylor comes in, addresses the group a bit better, they all get on board and they play a certain way and the points tally is better. But I think the Jono deal really hurt us. There's too much upheaval in the season for it to be positive. Joey's gone, Jono deal didn't happen, Mang's in for a little bit. Then Taylor comes in. It's just you're never going to get success off the back of the way that season went. Like I predicted 9th under the old regime. You can't say, oh, I predict 9th, but we'll have a load of turmoil and still get 9th. Like once the manager gets sacked, it's all up in the air, isn't it? You don't know where it's going to go or how it's going to happen. So, and then obviously as it gets sold for peanuts, it's I just don't think it's been a sort of 70-30 negative, I think, as far as the season goes.
Yeah, I agree. And Ben, with this comment as well, that's also another thing. And I think I think especially defense, but I think the core, I mean, we'll get into rating players soon, but when you look at along with the defense, also the core of the team, where especially midfield, like you look at the amount of games Grant Ward missed. Obviously, Rossiter was out for over 400 days. Like he's only played 4 games all season. But I think especially Grant Ward, and then you look at because some of the midfielders like Bogard and Woods didn't work at all. But along with. But I agree. That's one of the main things. One, not having a settled back four, which if you look at all the successful teams or teams with clean sheets, the defense pretty much stays the same all season long. Yusuf saying, you reckon? I hope so. I really hope so. I think it would definitely help Matt Taylor if we were to get a good signing in early. I think he did say that he wanted to, but we'll have to see what happens. I've heard murmurings, but I haven't. There's nothing nowhere near close to what I've heard. And yeah, Tom said nil, spot on. Yeah, that's the thing. Like if we start right, if we go with Barton, this is just league, by the way, at the start of the season. So he was here from obviously start of the season until the 26th of October. He got sacked a day after the 1-1 draw against Stevenage, where Martin scored that worldie and got us a point. So in the league with Barton, 13 games played, 4 wins, 4 draws, 5 defeats. Of course, one of the defeats in there was probably one of the and it obviously with Barton, we all know that it wasn't, a lot of it was to do with off the pitch, why he got sacked in the end. I think the turmoil on social and, you know, various things that he said. But if you're looking at that, and I agree with you. I said it back then when he got sacked. I also wouldn't have sacked him. No way. Because like you look at it, when you've got a manager that's obviously recruited a whole squad, and then a totally new manager comes in and says to the players early that obviously that he didn't want him, or they weren't going to stay. It was always going to be even harder then, even with the sort of, you know, good start we had under Taylor. But that's one thing I will say about Barton that I found frustrating was in pre-season we were playing that 4-2-4/4-4-2 formation, and all the players, and we were playing really well. And then it comes to the first game of the season away at Pompey, and he changes the system, and we were looking really, even against, like, I know it's only pre-season, but even against Swansea, we were playing really well with like Finlay and Grant Ward in the middle. But yeah, it was so frustrating because, you know, we started fairly well. You know, I know we didn't win the first sort of 2 games, but Pompey away, we were like, 30 seconds away from a win. Barnsley played really well, but I've never seen a striker in John Marquis miss so many chances that game. And then obviously we get the loss against Cambridge, and then it's sort of, but yeah, I mean, we all knew that anyway, didn't we? It wasn't. Yeah, we had a few poor results in the first sort of 2 and a bit months, but it wasn't that got him sacked, was it? It was definitely off the pitch stuff and what he said to the owners.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no secret, is it? Like, he's a polarizing character. That's just how he's made. But like, you take the rough with the smooth with him, and obviously there's a lot of rough stuff comes towards the end. But also, I think the stuff that came towards the end, they knew before we did that he was gonna be going. So he's just, you know, signed up to do the things he's done in, you know, social media world and whatever. And he's it's just gone that way, innit? But it all depends on what your outlook is on it, you know. As far as if you're someone who's very pro, you know, the community stuff and how the football club looks and how others perceive you and all the rest of it, then Joey Barton's not going to be for you. If all you give a monkeys about is results, and you think that the group he's recruited all buy into him and he can get results, like, this is me being a bit crash, but I think, you know, I mean, I've played the game. I've been in change rooms. I've done it. Winning games is what matters. I'd cheat every week to win a football match. It makes no difference what anyone else thinks of you. Like, but I understand there are certain football fans out there that want us to come across as a very likable football club and all the community stuff that goes on and all the, you know, all the other stuff that comes along with it. But, you know, but this is just me personally. Just win a football match. Everything else is secondary. Not really. Millwall built a full brand off of no one likes us, we don't care. You know, championship, lovely. So it's how you personally want to see your football club and how you want others to see your football club, innit? Me personally couldn't give a monkeys.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It is all different, and obviously that's what the good thing is about football. There's always opinions. You know, people might not agree, even maybe with the stuff that we say tonight. But yeah, you know, the best thing is to be is, especially when you sort of doing reviews and season reviews and stuff, is just, and in life is just honesty. And yeah, it's just about opinions. Yeah, there has been a few good players, good shouts. I mean, we'll do one with. We might even talk a little bit about it at the end if Neil's done any sort of recruitment watch so far. But I'm in the next sort of week or so, I'm going to do one for each position, like sort of one every few days on like goalies, defenders, midfield, striker, wingers, etc. Because I've got a big list. But I agree, and we all know with this as well what Chris has said. Obviously wages with JCH. Obviously the mess that happened, but yeah, wages is a big one. I mean, look at, they've just signed that Rafferty as well, haven't they, today, Rotherham? They signed that Rafferty who got released by Pompey. So then 2 free signings, yeah, they're free, but obviously the wages are going to be good. But yeah, that's the problem this season. Yeah, wage bill is going to go down. So I think a lot of we'll go on to retain list later on, and players that are still under contract. Because obviously I've done a video, but I haven't got Neil's thoughts on it yet. But yeah, I think it's going to be a weird season, because although I want to say, you know, get smart recruitment, you know, do recruitment smartly, and you know, there's no reason to like you look at other clubs like Oxford. Hardly spent anything. I know that, a few players have been there a number of years, you know, like Elliot Moore and Brannigan and stuff. But a lot of these signings are on a free. It's all about just doing the right scouting and getting players for your system and stuff like that. So yeah, and obviously I think what we have heard last season as well with the interviews, there was that one interview on it where the owner, that's what also got me a little bit. I think it was the Cheltenham game where after the 3-1 win away, Taylor was going on about, I think he was almost on about that like he wanted to pick his squad. So it still seems a bit weird with the ownership and with Taylor. Like even with signings coming in, and you look at Friend, who is now going to be doing the recruitment, and you even like look at Conte. To be fair, I think Conte is an actual Taylor signing, because I've read that he wanted him when he was at Rotherham. But if you look at even with lineups and stuff like that, that's why I still think is a bit all up in the air, like all this stuff, because they come out after one of the games saying, "Oh, we want a younger squad," and they did an interview with Taylor, and Taylor was like, "Oh, who said that?" And they were like, "Oh, the owners." So it's just all a bit mad, to be honest with you. Yeah, Ben saying the Burton game. Yeah, Burton game. To be fair, yeah, it was appalling. I was there. It was appalling. I just can't buy into Taylor's team next season. Fills me with dread, if I'm honest. Neil wants us like Millwall, respect it. Can see it being, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. A lot of clubs will be signing frees. Yeah, you'll have, because there's no sort of like fair play or whatever. Like Wrexham will be going mad, you know, until they get to the Championship, at least the Championship or the Premier League. They can, even though they're losing so much money and they're paying ridiculous wages. I think they spent, what was it, $500,000 on agent fees like alone last season. Like it is going to be mad, but it's all about, you know, we'll get into it on sort of what we want to see for next season and stuff. But yeah, we will talk about on those lines. But if we quickly talk about Mangan, though, of course, there was that period where he was in from the 26th of October from the 1st of December. 7 games he took charge of, 4 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat. The defeat coming in the defeat at Pride Park, losing to Derby, which we should have. We said that a lot. We pretty much said that every week, didn't we? We should have got something out of it, but we played really well. The players, you know, you said it earlier on that the players were really, you know, wanting to play for him. Of course, there was a few wins. You know, we beat Whitby in the cup. We we beat Newport away in the EFL Trophy, but then of course we beat Northampton as well. But it was just all a bit mad, wasn't it, that period, especially the sort of longer it went on. I think, yeah, in the end, what's that, like a month and 2 weeks, I think it took. That's what that was, again, a lot of the anger and a lot of the issues from fans was you sacked Barton, but they didn't have anyone lined up, and then it took a month and 2 weeks to get Taylor in. But to be fair, Mangan did do a good job. I think his last game was really frustrating, that Orient game. I remember when he sort of sat back really deep, but that's fair enough. But overall, we only lost one game. He was getting results. The players were fighting and stuff. And even at Reading, where we didn't play, that well, but still got a good result, especially if you look at their home form. Overall, we done a really good job, but it was just a bit of a messy time, wasn't it? Especially, what Mangan would have been thinking and what was going on in behind, sort of getting rid of Barton's staff and stuff like that. It was just all madness, wasn't it, when Mangan was in charge, really?
Yeah, I don't think you could have asked any more of Mangs to the job that he did. To be honest, he was living week to week. He didn't know he'd come Saturday. He didn't know whether that was his last game. He prepare his side, and I think the players were like that. Every week was a cup final to try and keep Mangs in the job. You know what I mean? It's not sustainable. You can't operate that way long term. So the board didn't cover himself in glory, like you said. They didn't have they didn't really identify a target, and if they did, he didn't want it. I mean, the talk was that Nathan Jones, the job was his if he wanted it, and he basically didn't like the sound of what he was getting of the people that he met or the deal he was being given, or so he turned it down, and he probably considers himself to have a far better job now. Now he's taking the Charlton one, and he's doing all right there, isn't he? Like they'll probably be in and amongst it next season, to be honest. But the Taylor one, they can't even come out and blag it being identifying him as a main target, because he wasn't after 40, he became available and they approached him. It's just one of them that happened in that 6-week period. So yeah, the board didn't cover himself in glory there. But as far as Mangs goes, like you could not have asked any more of the fella. Like he did brilliant considering the hand he was dealt.
Yeah. I completely agree. It was all a bit. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was all a bit of a mess, and that's the other thing as well, and yeah, Gordo, it's almost like it feels really, when you start to look at it now, and the reason why, I mean, don't get me wrong, Matt Taylor is a good coach, done good at Exeter, but we're looking at it now. Obviously, we're trying to get the wages off the books. Obviously, the stuff that come out that, all the debts and all the stuff like that, and all the stuff going off the pitch. Obviously, Matt Taylor bringing in more of his staff, of course. We've seen Yakola go, we've seen Kevin Bond who come back and now has gone again. But within the squad, it's almost like, what's the word for it? It's almost like looking like, from an owner's point of view, where I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the owners that have come in were they managing a football club before they coming into us? I don't really
aware of. I think they're novices at this, to be honest. From what I don't
really know. So it almost looks now, especially, and now they're obviously wanting to. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, to be fair, a few of our players might be on a bit of money. When you look at sort of Wilson, Hunt, a lot of the players in the side have played at a high level, but it almost looks like that they're sort of trying to get us, like when he was at Exeter, like he was on a very small budget at Exeter and done really well. Although, some people might say, a lot of the players, he sort of, got from Tisdale or whatever, or Tisdale brought them through, etc. But yeah, almost trimming the squad, getting a younger players, and even in, I don't know if you watched, if any of you and you, Neil, I don't know if any of you watched his video on he sort of done his sort of own season review. I do recommend. I know some people might say, oh, they don't, especially look like even you, like you don't really like listening to Taylor and stuff, but it was quite interesting in the way that he was saying about lowering expectation, which, I mean, if you're talking about as a manager and you're saying that, I mean, fans aren't going to say that. If you say that, and then fans a bit, like, even like the people that were annoyed with Taylor since he's been here, will just get even more annoyed, because I don't know how you can come out and say that. I mean, don't you think that's a bit weird from your own manager saying like we need to lower our expectation? Because I'm pretty sure I've not made that up. He said that, so go and watch it if you haven't already. It's on the Rovers YouTube channel. But what do you make of that? Him saying that for going into next season?
I haven't seen it, but if that's what he said, then honestly, I half respect it, to be honest, because you've got to understand this league is going to be murder next season. Like, we are not competing. Like, if you're talking about players on that are going to be going on Bosmans, and there's loads available on frees. If we're realistically, okay, if you look at our football club, realistically, if we're going up against another football club that is after a certain profile of player, and we're competing with another football club that will probably be sitting within the first top 10, even 12 places in League One next season, I think we miss out. Like, be honest. Like,
I agree.
Let's be completely frank. Are Bristol Rovers an attractive football club to come and play for if you are considering to be a playoff pushing top 10 footballer in this division?
No.
So what he's probably getting at, as far as lower expectation, if you think you're going to run into League One next season and start knocking around the playoffs in and around, you can't be pissy if you're not in and around the playoffs around October, November, December, because this league's going to be murder next season. You look at the players that are available in League One. Granted, they're available, but do they want to come and play at Bristol Rovers? The chances are no. If there are other clubs that are considered to be having a right good go of it, or in and around that playoff spot, looking to take them, because they've got better infrastructure, better stadium, probably a better budget, better facilities. I know
everything, basically.
Our football club's ours, and we think the world of it, and everyone would kick a ball from if they could. But ultimately,
it is facts, though, what you're saying.
They think with their heads, they think with their wallets, and it's whatever financially makes sense for himself, their career, and their move. And I don't see Bristol Rovers competing with, top 10. Less
real. Yeah, because it's agreed, but let's just reel some teams off. So, Rotherham, Huddersfield.
Yeah, that's
Birmingham.
Yeah, no chance.
Bolton.
No chance.
Wrexham.
No chance.
Stockport.
No chance.
Reading.
No. Well, Reading. Bit of turmoil there with Reading. I'd put a line through that one. I think we could probably go head to head with a side like Reading, and if a player looks at that club at the minute, he'll probably go, do you know what? Is that a stable environment for me to go to? So we're on 6 at the minute, I'd say.
Yeah. So what else? Blackpool.
Yeah, probably. I'd agree with that.
That's
but that's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only off the top of my head. So, but
Peterborough, there's another one for you.
Yeah, Peterborough. Yeah, 100%. Peterborough.
Get the table up. Get League One table up. We've talked about the ones that have come down from the Championship, the ones that have gone up from League Two. Just look at League One, a League One table as it stands now. Forget the ones that have gone up and gone down, but who remain, and we'll be able to see who we're competing with, and if we've got a shot of pinching a player if we're going head to head on negotiating a deal with them.
Yeah. So let's have a look. So yeah, forgot one. Barnsley.
There you go.
But
So
that's
seven,
a bit of a weird one, though.
That's an 8-1. Nah, look at that. They're going to be there or thereabouts. Again,
Yeah, they should be. Yeah.
Barnsley a bigger club than Bristol Rovers. Have they got more money? Have they got better facilities? Have they got a better stadium?
Yeah. But it does look a little bit weird, because how many players are leaving, and it may be their ex-manager, the one that Barton got in court with, that's Stendhal.
Done all right there, didn't he, Stendhal?
Yeah, he done well. He got him promoted to the Championship. Lincoln, Blackpool went through. Stevenage, I don't think they'll be the same next season.
No, they won't be the same club. No.
Wickham, they finished strongly, and they're usually up there.
I think facilities, infrastructure, and that. I don't think they're better than us.
Orient.
Yeah, I prefer Orient to us if I was a footballer.
Wigan.
Yeah.
Exeter.
10, we must have hit 10 already. Nah, not Exeter. I think we can go toe to toe with Exeter for players. I think.
Yeah. Northampton.
Again, with Northampton, we're pretty similar to Northampton. I think it's not nice to say, but realistically, we are.
Yeah. Charlton.
Yeah, she's going to go Charlton, isn't you? If that's the going for
and then the rest of what? Burton, Shrewsbury, Cambridge.
Yeah, so you're looking at 11 clubs that we've reeled off. That if we're competing with them, we are going to be second best in that.
Even more than that, really. Even more. I've listed. That's pretty much the whole. If you count players,
then you got
coming up.
Wrexham, Stockport, Mansfield, and all them. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, Mansfield. Yeah, look at them. Their ownership,
and the rest of it. They've just signed Lee Gregory. That's going to attract another player to go and play for them because they think, right, we've got a shot at this. So you're looking at half a table there, which suggests that you're going to be a bottom half side. So I think maybe he's worded it wrong. I don't know about lower expectation. Maybe you shouldn't have said that, but we need to definitely manage them. You need to manage the expectation of what your expectations are for the coming season and what sort of players you're looking to come through the door. Because it ain't going to be like Joey, like when Paul Coots comes through the door and go, Christ, got Paul Coots, like a household name in the EFL. Who knows? We ain't going to get them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It is a big difference. Chris saying personally, he would have kept Joey. At least he would have had the players on his side. Ben, for me, unfortunately, now it feels like the club is less together than we was under Barton. Just let's hope the board can get the window right. I can't see Taylor lasting more than 10 games if you don't get off to a good start. That's the other thing I've seen. And obviously, it's like I said again, it's people's opinions, but I can't remember who it was, but I seen someone say we should just draw a line and draw a line with Taylor, basically is what he said, and start again, which is in a way you might go, yeah, but then it's not as easy as that, is it? Because I'm still, me and you are still Taylor in, like we're not Taylor out, even though like some of the stuff might sound but he has to get off to a good start next season. It's yes, there will be a sort of a fresh line under it, or a fresh start, but at the end, I mean, we'll quickly before that we'll go through his sort of stuff last season. So I mean, also we'll look at this is, by the way, this is all free. This is every game this season, and then I'll go into Taylor under Rovers. So all competitions Rovers under Mangan, Barton, and Taylor played 55, won 20, drew 10, lost 25, scored 72, conceded 84. And if we go into Taylor, we'll go league first. So played 28, won 10, drew 3, and lost 15. All competitions played 32, won 11, drew 4, and lost 17. But yeah, what was you going to say then about Taylor?
You mentioned there that certain fans or a section will be saying he has to get off to a good start or he'll get the bullet. Again, you look at managing expectations. Define a good start in League One for Bristol Rovers next season. considering what we've just said about them teams and what we're competing against as far as trying to make acquisitions and getting players through the door, and who we're potentially, if you identify a player and even one of them teams obviously wants to offer them terms as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got define what a good start is. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what the fixtures are going to be. We might end up playing, them lower echelons of sides.
But that's the teams we usually struggle against
in the first 10 games or whatever. So, I mean, you've got to be measured in what you're saying there as far as define good. Because if we're playing our first 10 games are, Stockport, Wrexham, Mansfield, Charlton, and all the rest of them, and then we only pick up, 6 points from the first 10 or 7, 8 points from the first 10. Well, you know what? Because you're playing the big hitters, they've got more money than you, got better players than you, and have got a different sort of agenda and target for the season. So it's all relevant, isn't it? It's all relevant, and I just think the term you need to use really is manage your expectation rather than lower it, because
definitely.
I don't think anyone who's real. I don't think realistically anyone's going into League One going, do you know what? Even you can't be saying six.
No, I'm not. I mean,
the most positive fans aren't gonna shout that. And I know we've not even signed a player yet, but the law of averages would say we're not going to be getting the big hitters in this league because the budget won't be allowing for it.
Yeah, I mean, I will get your. Like I said, I'd done the post on Twitter last night on the Talking Gas socials and mine as well. I tweeted it, and a lot of people, like loads of people, giving their thoughts. So we will say in a little while what our thoughts are going into our early thoughts, obviously before we sign players, and like we said, we've reeled off teams there, but going back to the earlier comment, Tom said. Buckle said that once, and look what happened to him. Taylor won't make Christmas. What I don't understand is why wasn't Paul Cook approached? I think he's in a way, he's one of these managers that, like, with Taylor, I like Taylor as well, but Paul Cook is almost like a Joey Barton in a way. Like, obviously not the madness on socials, but the fact that he'll be like, give me my player, like give me Paddy Madden. I've just been promoted, give me Madden. Back me with a prolific striker, like, or what else? Guys, I'm saying far too much pessimism on here. League is the strongest it's ever been. Going to get some harrowings, but also, I mean, it depends. It depends because we can all say that, but then it would be so Rovers. And by the way, I'm not saying we're going to get obviously playoffs because we're not. But it would be so funny, in a way, and so Rovers in a way that we'd be like, oh my god, look at this league, and then we comfortably finish, say, 10th. But on the other hand, we could have a bad third season in League One like we always do, and struggle a lot. Rovers have just sold part of training ground for houses. God, is that true? Yeah. We said Wigan as well. That's what I mean. There is a lot of teams, but it's all about it's all about everything as well. Everything coming together. Matt Taylor's just being realistic. Yeah, I agree, but he should have just used different wording for that. Like, lower your expectations, like saying that as a manager and other stuff. He should have, like Neil said, he should have worded it a little bit different. So what you like about Joey, he was definitely putting power behind some of the transfers. Yeah, 100%. Like you said, Coots, Evans, Martin, loads of other players would never have come if it was Taylor, for example. We've seen that. Yeah, Joe Rafferty, they signed the right back on a free. 18 points from the first 10 would be a great start, unrealistic, but we can hope. What can we expect from the next live stream? Well, hopefully it's going to be, we'd sign a few players by now. well, by then, hopefully. So, yeah, we'll have to see. But even if they play the top 10 teams, can you still gauge on how the team will perform? That's what I mean. That's another thing we need to do. We'll get onto that. We'll get onto that now before we get on to rating players and doing our sort of own rewards thing. Next season, what are you hoping to see that you didn't see from this season or even the season before? What are you hoping, whether it's play style, whether it's obviously more wins than losses, whether it's a proper style of play, whatever. What are you hoping to see next season for you personally?
The biggest thing this side needs on the playing side, the biggest thing this side needs is a culture shift, a complete culture shift. I said it before, and I know I've harped on about him all the time, but he set the standard so highly. Yeah. It was with Coots. We've never been as good as what we have been when Coots was around, because he managed that side. Everyone doted on him. Everyone looked towards him. If Coots said it, it got done. If it was on the pitch, things got shaky, look to Coots to sort it. Like we have no leaders. We have no leaders in our side. And what he needs to recruit is leaders and men to run that dressing room. Because at the minute, since Coots has gone, we've not had it. We've had players, we've had good, talented players, but we've had no one who can run a dressing room. And anyone who thinks that a manager runs a dressing room, you're miles off it. It doesn't. In reality, it doesn't. You've got senior pros who do it, and no one goes and speaks to a manager before they go to the senior pros first. Like there's a hierarchy of control in that front, and we haven't got that. And that's the first thing Taylor needs to nail down: who's going to lead his team, who's going to be his pros, who's going to be the ones that stick their neck out, put their foot in, and drive this team on, whether it be in the good bits, the bad bits, or the indifferent bits. Because at the minute we just got a load. What he recruited was a load of players that just went and played. You couldn't look at anyone in that squad and go, do you know what? He's our man. He's our man. Like, you knew full well when Coots played, he's our guy. Like, he's the one that they all respect. He's the one they all go to. He's the one that they all think highly of. Like, he is our skipper on and off that pitch. We've not had that since him, and that's what we need to get back to as far as a culture. As far as a level of performance, how we play, I could not give a toss. I can watch Dross. I can happily watch Dross if we get results. I don't need to watch nice stuff. I've played in sides where we've never played nice stuff but got results, and there's no better feeling than winning ugly, I tell you. So how we play, I'm not concerned with, but we need a definite culture shift on pitch, training ground, and even off the pitch, as far as a group that are well gelled and want to play and be around each other. Yeah. So he needs to recruit some solid, strong leaders. Who they are, I don't know, but that's what he needs to. That's definitely what Taylor needs to identify and get in and around the environment.
Yeah, and of course, let us know in the comments as well. And also, if you are watching back, do let us know. I'd love to know what. Of course, we want to see more wins and stuff like that, but other things as well. Do let us know in the comments after if you're watching back. Jason said because we can constantly rebuild, the first year is the most betting in, so always look for the second season, then the cycle repeats. Yeah, it was Rafferty and some. Oh, I didn't realize they're saying that Northampton kid as well. Gordo said consistency. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, this season we've had consistency of poor performances and losses. But yeah, Nick says some fight and heart when we go a goal or 2-0 down. Steve non-existent with Taylor in the dugout. Under Matt, we just want to see a nice new East Stand and a decent tannoy and no burnt pasties. Under Matt Taylor, it won't be pretty football. Well, that's what I'll say a few things. I want to see his style of play. What I want to see is during these next few months up until the end of the window and going into pre-season, I want to see an exact style, because I liked, if I'm being honest, I like three at the back. We were playing some really good stuff when he first come in, and he used that three at the back. But recruit players for that system, and don't be like, oh, actually I want to. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Some games you might want to change, but you look at every decent, solid team or a team that wants to sort of try and do something or build something. You need a solid structure and a solid team, and that what you want to do. To be fair, I think that's really the main thing. Obviously, I want to see more pace as well in the team. If I'm being very honest, I think all of us do. I think that's what we've been missing a lot. And I'm sort of the same with you. Yes, it would be nice to see good football, but I don't care. Like under Coughlin, I remember loads of people going away, and even at home, people are like, God, this is awful, isn't it? I was like, mate, we're like 3rd or 4th in League One. What are you on about? Like, I agree with you. I don't care if we win games 1-0 every week, like or by 1 goal, like we did under Coughlin. I don't care. Just a bit of consistency and just bringing back that winning mentality and winning culture. Pretty much. Next then on the plus side, the new staff stand getting a big screen. Yeah, I seen that. What's that? I seen that you were linked with a player, Devante Rodney. What? God, he's awful, Devante Rodney. Jesus Christ! I hope we ain't linked with Devante Rodney. Every team wants consistency, goals, and pace up top is what Tom wants. A couple of pacey strikers. Noah Stewart from Northern Ireland. Coughlin got pelters even though we were winning games. Even when at Ipswich and we were second. That's what I mean. I remember going to Ipswich. I'm thinking, wow, like, and that's what I mean. But the thing is, in football, you're never gonna, whether it's winning games or whatever, or whether you're signing the best players. But yeah, it is pretty mad. But before we get on to doing our ratings, please do hit the like button. If you haven't already, it really does help out. Do subscribe. Keep getting your comments in. We're going to quickly do our own we'll do pretty much the same sort of normal awards as well. Nil, player of the season. I'm guessing you agree, Anthony Evans. You agree with that?
Yeah, I don't think you can look past Evo really. Like I know Chris Martin did great for when he came in and did with it, but I'm trying to think of anyone else that can even get close to him. I mean, as far as output, performance, and ability, then Anthony Evans, yeah. But I think you have to, considering his age, what he's come into and how he performed, how he carried himself, and the way he handled himself being on loan, I thought Harvey Vale was excellent for us. He's come from a massive football club. He's walked into a football club which is basically up in the air. He's gone through 3 managers, 3 different styles of play, a group of players that don't like the bloke they've ended up with, and he's handled himself brilliantly. He's been played all over the park. He's learnt on the job. He's been adaptable. He's not sulked. He could have easily gone, sod this, I want to go back to Chelsea and send me out somewhere else. And he hasn't. He's stuck at it. He's got his minutes in, which would have been key for coming in. And I think he deserves a special mention, to be honest, because not many loan players would have knuckled down and done what he did, especially as a 20-year-old boy. So for that, I think he deserves a mention. But yeah, Anthony Evans for player of the season, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah, and also do let us know when we do go over. Yeah, when we carry on our rewards, what we're doing now, and when we go on to ratings in a minute, then do let us know as well your ratings in the comments. Do let us know. It would be interesting to see what you guys think as well, because it is obviously for interaction, and we do get to all the comments as well. Yeah, Ben Dow saying I miss Vel. Yeah, I mean, young player next. I know Jed Ward had a good season when he come in, but I'm very, very shocked that Harvey Vale, he would be my young player this season for how consistent he was, for how, like he said, a lot of his games this season was either at left back or left wing back, and he come into the side as a 10/winger, and the amount of games he played, I'm very I mean, yeah, I get Jed's one of our own, and I love Jed. Happy birthday as well to Jed if you're watching, 21 today. But yeah, I'm very surprised it wasn't Harvey Vell. He would be my young player of the year. Who would you put for young player of the season?
No, I'd agree with that. I know you can get lost in the sentiment of the Jed thing, but ultimately, what did he play? 15 games, something like that. Ultimately, over the course of a season, something like he didn't come in at the back end, didn't he? When the season was all done and and Coxey come out for a little for the spell where the season was a dead rubber. Do you know what I mean? So it was the right time to throw Jed in. Don't get me wrong, and I thought he did well, but over the course of the minutes that Harvey's played, considering where he's come from, new surroundings, new players, new league, really adaptable, handled himself great. Yeah, I'll go along with that. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, Benson wants to see more of Kofi Shaw. Yeah, he got under 18s player of the year, didn't he? Yeah, I agree. I watched him in the Cheltenham and Rovers game when I think Cheltenham beat Rovers under 18s 2-1. But yeah, Kofi Shaw was really good. I know he's been on the bench a lot and he come on at Wigan. But yeah, I agree. I would like to see more of him. Get even just start. I don't think he started any games in the EFL trophy either. Like I'd start him in all of them at least, and then see what happens. Same for other players. Like I know Ollie Dewsbury's like really young, but even him, like, yeah, I'd love to see that. Yeah, who would you say most improved? I think it's a really tough one. I mean, for me, I would say Anthony Evans, but only because last season he was played in his wrong position. He was like more of like a 6 or an 8, but he isn't. Like you've seen this season in the 10, and that's only because he was in his wrong position. But there ain't really many players I seen from who we had last season that have like improved massively. Like unless I'm just going for, I mean, yeah, you could say Ben saying Luke Thomas because of obviously how he was in the first spell with us and how we did this season. Like who would you say for most improved?
Well, it depends how you look at the terminology, doesn't it? As far as stepping up and getting it done, it's Chris Martin, isn't it? Without Chris Martin,
but he wouldn't hear. No, I mean, as in players that wouldn't hear before the season just gone.
What? So what do you mean from the players that weren't here from Chris Martin was here from the end of the transfer window, wasn't he? When we had an afterthought for Johnny not being signed.
No, but I mean from the season before. So
most improvement on
Yeah.
the season before, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was such a poor season. It's hard to pick one. What you expect from a player and what he delivered. I don't know. I think the bar was so low for Luke Thomas that he couldn't have got any worse. Don't get me wrong. Like he's been a much better pro than he was when he was with us previously. But the bar was so low. Do you know what I mean? That he wouldn't have got a kick if he was like. But I think it has to be Jed, doesn't it? It has to be really.
Yeah. It's hard because even him, like he's only got brought in because like our keeper situation was so
that tells the story of our season, though, doesn't it? That tells the story. You're scratching around for someone to find. That tells you the story.
Yeah. It's very tough, to be honest. It's disappointing in Christina. Came with so much hype. Thought he was just meh. Luke Thomas. Yeah, I mean to be fair, like even most improved. You probably could say, but that says a lot. Something that we had in the 21-22 season is most improved because that's what I mean. Last season, I only chose Evans just because of his positional change. I still, that's one of the mad things. I don't know why. I liked Barton, but I don't know why he dropped Evans playing so deep. That was madness. I still don't know why he did that. But yeah, a lot of people are saying Luke, but that's what I mean. That says a lot when. Yeah, he wasn't even here last season, but because he didn't, he he was okay, but the first time we expected him, we expected a lot. So yeah, that's fair enough. Good question here. From Tom, would you be happy with Jed Ward starting the new season?
I'm really torn on this, to be honest, because on one hand, I'd like to see a real established League One goalkeeper with loads of games behind him that has been there, seen it, done it. And on the other hand, I'm thinking, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And I've not seen anything from Jed to suggest that he's not good enough. What's been in front of him has been awful. He's made some really good stops. I think that for a young goalkeeper, the best part of your game at the minute is going to be your shot stopping. There's loads of other elements of his game that he's going to get better, but the only way you get better is with games. The one thing you can't do with Jed is put him on the bench. He either goes out on loan for a season in the National League or League Two or whatever and gets full minutes for a full season at one of the better clubs, or you play him. And at the minute, I haven't got an opinion on this because I wouldn't be disappointed either way, to be honest. So I saw him go out on loan because we've recruited a goalkeeper that he wants to play that is 29 years of age, going into 30s or whatever, played loads of games under his belt at a higher level in League One, etc. Then I get it.
Yeah. And
then Jed can go and get his minutes and his games elsewhere, being a really strong goalkeeper in another league that won't do him any harm at all, because he's going to be a big asset for us. He will be in the future. But I keep on saying the future, but he could be next season. I really don't have a strong opinion on it.
Yeah, it is tough, isn't it? I'm sort of the same. Because he did, a lot of people know he saved. There's a lot of games where you look at even his first game he come into, like Oxford, a team coming to the Mem on promotion form, and again quality. Exeter away should have probably lost that game. Didn't really play well. Yes, Exeter. But we didn't play well, and there were some 2 or 3 1-on-1s which he saved. But yeah, I agree. It's really tough. It is tough. I think that's probably is one of the mixed ones but like you said, he's only just turned 21. He's only just turned 21. We signed him on a long deal. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I agree with you. If he's gonna sit on the you either start him or you loan him out. I wouldn't have him on the bench. He just needs games and games and games. In Giovanni Brown, I think Joey wanted him in Evans' position. Jed kept the scoreline down in so many games. The only other player I could think of was James Conley. Well, to be fair, I think that's one we'll get into in a sec with ratings. But yeah, that's an interesting. Even Wigan. To be fair, Wigan was. I didn't even because me and Neil went up there. Not together, but we went up there on a weekenders. Honestly, I was fuming, but I was also had quite a few drinks that game. But we were still, honestly, that was an absolute shambles of a last game.
60 minutes.
I remember you telling me that was an absolute shambles. And do you know what the thing that really annoyed me as well? Which again will just frustrate more people. But Taylor didn't even clap the fans. He just went off. He didn't even clap the fans. And I know people were angry, and rightly so, because it was absolutely... I mean, there's been a lot of poor performances. I mean, we'll do that now, actually. Worst performance of the season. What are you going with?
Oh, mate.
And let us know in the comments as well.
The Burton one was bad, but I can't...
What, Burton at home or away, or both?
No, away, I think. But the Lincoln one sticks out as it stank. I know they're a good side, but we just rolled over and got our bellies tickled, But there's nothing on Wigan either. There was nothing on the game at Wigan, but it was worse than a testimonial, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the Wickham one sticks out. But Accrington away will always be the standard under Tisdale for the worst performance you can ever think of. But
was that in the COVID season?
Yeah, when we got done 6-1 or something, 6-0 or whatever it was. That's the benchmark for the worst Rovers performance I think I can remember seeing. But yeah, the Lincoln one sticks out for how good a side they were and how on form they were at that point in time. We just crumbled, absolutely crumbled. So yeah, there's a few you could pick out, but that one sticks out.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of people are saying that. For me, it is tough because there has been so many, but because that game could have been like 9-5. Like that was the weird thing about that game. I mean, that was one of the 4 games, four away games I missed this season was Lincoln. I thought as the season, obviously apart from Wigan, the last 3 or 4 before that I didn't do. I was so frustrated and fuming. Like I was thinking, why the hell? Like, what is the point? I'd done that last season. I'd done every game the season before the one just gone, and I thought I ain't doing that again. But yeah, Lincoln was. But I'm not going to say that because we should have scored like 3 or 4 at least that game, no matter chances we had. I'd probably go either the Burton away game or the home game or Fleetwood at home. I thought that Fleetwood game on a Tuesday night and the home and away game, the weird way at Burton where we were started so well, went 1-0 up, and we're thinking, wow, like we're gonna have another performance like the season before on like the opening away day when we battered them like 4-1 or 4-0. But to lose, because then concede 4 goals after going 1-0 up, yeah. But there's loads, but yeah, a lot of people saying Lincoln. Lincoln. To be fair, if I was at the game, I'd have probably said Lincoln. I mean, it looked bad on iFollow, but being at that game, I can imagine it was absolute hell, especially how long a journey. Yeah, most disappointing. Yeah, most disappointing. I would say Giovanni. Do you agree, Neil?
Yeah, I don't think he's looked past that. To be honest, he's not been at it at all this year. Yeah, considering what the expectation of him off the back of that Exeter season, he's not been at it at all this season.
Yeah. I think everyone would agree. Burton every season, home and away. Yeah, Port Vale. To be fair, Port Vale was atrocious. Yeah, Port Vale. Exeter game as well. God.
Reading at home was bad as well, wasn't it?
What's that? Yeah, Reading. Yeah,
that was a bad one.
Yeah, that was when fans started to turn on Taylor. That game. Yeah, that's what I mean. We got outsung by 17 pensioners and Cod's Vlogs in the away end for Fleetwood. Yeah, it was mental. Port Vale away. Yeah, Port Vale was a shambles. You left after 60 minutes, Reading. Yeah, Reading. God, that. Oh my God. Yeah, they absolutely. That was madness. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably it on awards. Actually, we'd do one more. Goal of the season.
I'd probably say Chris Martin's first for us.
What, Stevenage at home?
Yeah, the one where he clipped it from about 40 yards.
That was mine. To be fair, that Aguilera one was amazing. Like being in that away end was mad. But yeah, I agree because of how poor we were that game, and it was madness. It was the last player to score a goal like that. I probably Lambert or something like that. Or I can't really remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that Martin chip was quality. To be fair, yeah. Tommy Allen as well saying Reading was shambolic. Yeah, shambolic. Yeah, I mean we'll do our ratings then. I know we've been going an hour and 10 minutes. Hopefully we shouldn't be too long when to do these ratings, and then we'll end it here. I know it is a bit longer, but it is a season review. So, Giovanni against Port Vale. Yeah, pretty much the only thing he did. Martin. Yeah, to be fair, the header at Barnsley was mental. To be fair, that was like the Pittman one against Bradford away in the promotion season. But yeah, we'll start off with keepers. Obviously, Matt Hall you literally can't rate, because he's the only player. I know he was bought for what, second, third choice, but he's the only player that hasn't played a single game. Pretty mad signing. Got a year left. To be fair, I'd probably it's a bit of a weird one. Can't really rate him because we haven't seen him play. Matt Cox, 28 league starts, 34 games in all comps. What rating would you give Matt Cox out of 10?
We'll probably go through these ratings, and you're not going to see magnificent scores off me from any of them, to be honest. 6.
Yeah, I agree. I would give him. It was a bit of a he started well in some games, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give him. I mean, Ben Dowell says 2. I think that's too harsh, to be fair. I think 2 is way too harsh. But that's fair enough. Jed Ward, 18 games played, 19 in all comps. What rating would you give Jed Ward?
I'd give Jed a 9, considering he probably didn't expect to be anywhere near starting for us this season or have a run of games for us, really. I think where was he earlier in the season? Wilston. Do you know what I mean? He's come out of he's come from that into our group to just be part of it and then start games and have a real good run. Not really massively at fault for anything that I can remember being glaringly obvious. What's been in front of him, it's been catastrophic at times. And he's handled himself pretty well, to be honest. I think you couldn't have asked for him to be any better than what he did coming in. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to give Jed a 9, considering what his expectation for the season was meant to be.
Yeah, I'd probably give him an 8. Pretty much agree with what you said, to be honest. I'd probably say 8. We'll go with Jack Hunt. 21 league starts, played 25 games in the league, 27 in all comps. What would you give Jack Hunt's rating?
Probably on his own standards, caliber of player he is. He's had a bit of an in and out season. Again, probably 5 for Jack, to be honest. He's not been fit as he'd like to have been. We've not played with as much of the ball as what he'd have liked to have been the player he is. So we've sacrificed a lot of possession, and Jack's a better player when we've got the ball, and I think sometimes it showed. So yeah, we'll probably go for 5.
Yeah, for me, if he probably would have played more games, then I'd probably would have given him an 8 easily. But because of the games played, then I'd have to take some off. So I'd probably say 6.5, because it's frustrating because he's been, when he has played, I mean, only probably one. I can remember one poor game he had off the top of my head, which was Peterborough away, like just because of their raw pace. They, like Jay Jones and that David Ajaboy, who is a player that I want, the winger, absolutely cooked him on the left hand side. But yeah, I'd probably say 6.5. Next one, Luca Hall, played 23 games in the league, but only 14 starts. A lot of his appearances, he wasn't really fancied by. Taylor was only playing him because obviously Jack Hunt has been injured for a lot. What would you give him, Luca Hall?
Yeah, it's hard to really give him a decent score. And to be fair, it's hard to give him a real bad one, to be honest, because he's not had a run of games. He's not started. His season's been real patchy. When he has come in, he's not been fantastic. But then again, when he has come in, it hasn't been for long spells. It hasn't been in a desperately successful side. So I think, you can give Luca a little bit of a pass on some things and not on others. So again, I'll probably go down the road of sort of a 4 at worst, 4 or 5 at best.
Yeah. To be fair, I'd probably say 4. And that's only because if he hasn't played, he hasn't, like you said, he hasn't had a run of games. But then again, for me, I mean, if we would go longer, but we do have to finish up in the sort of next 5 or 6 minutes. But I'd give him a 4. I personally don't think he's, obviously as a young player, especially one of your own, it's hard to, people want him to do well and stuff, but I just don't think he's good enough defensively, and I don't think he is good enough technically, and he hasn't got a lot of pace either. So it's sort of hard. So yeah, I'd probably do that. Josh Grant, what would you say? Played 29 games, 16 starts in the league, and 29 games in the league. Obviously, all comps he's played a bit more. But what would you give Josh Grant?
Yeah, I'm struggling with Josh here. Like, I think he's not the player that he once could have been, especially if I think the injury and the operation hasn't helped him, to be honest. The operation was something that we thought would hopefully get him back to what we saw when he had that real purple patch in the League Two season, and he's miles off of it. I think a 4 at best, to be honest. I just don't think he's a footballer. I just don't think he's a footballer he could be.
Yeah, it's a shame. It happens to a lot of players, man. It happens to a lot. I'd probably give him. Yeah, I'd probably say the same. Even the games he has played, he's probably might have injections and stuff. Like he's just, it's a shame, really. Next one, Tristan Kramer played 27 league games, started 22 of them, but it feels like we haven't seen him for like 5-6 months. I think he was one of the he's one of the players that I think didn't like Taylor. So that probably says a lot. Yeah, what would you give him rating?
I think, like, don't get me wrong, I think there's probably going to be a real good centre half in Tristan, but he just has brain lapses. He just has brain lapses. Like I've never seen a 90 minutes where he's been excellent. There's always
something.
If I'm opposition's coach and staff, I'm saying play on that kid, because at some point you'll get joy out of him. So I think Tristan probably caliber. He's come from a Premier League club, so probably 5.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same, to be honest. Next up, Connor Taylor played 33 league games, started 30 of them. What would you say? For me, it's just been a bit of an inconsistent, like, injury niggle hit season, hasn't it? Start of it, he obviously come in. I thought he was playing pretty well, but then as the season's gone on, he's been picking up these niggles. And now he's out for quite a while with a hamstring injury as well, which isn't good. But I'd probably give him it's tough. I'd probably say 5.5/6 is tough. I think it's tough,
I think by his own standards, he would have been disappointed with his season, to be honest, Connor. Like, considering what he knows and what we know you can get out of him as far as an output. There's elements of his game that you just didn't see this season. Just injury wasn't great. The playing group, the upheaval with managers, etc. Connor Taylor should be weighing in with more goal opportunities for us as well. There's in both boxes. He should be a real threat, and he should be an animal like he was in League Two. He was an animal for us, and didn't see a lot of that because we were so indifferent on the pitch itself. I'll probably go 5 again for Connor Taylor. I think he's probably judged himself as not having an underwhelming season himself.
Yeah, I agree. Well, to be fair, the all the rest of them will just say our ratings, because we've got to end really soon. So next one, out of 10, Baggett.
5.
I'll say 6.5 for me. James Wilson.
3.
I'd say 4.5 for Wilson. Next one is Lewis Gordon.
4.
I'd say 5. I think that's the whole of the defense done. So next we'll go into midfield. Evans.
7.5.
God, 7.5. I'd go 9 for me. Luke Thomas.
6.5.
I'd go 7.5. Sam Finley.
6.5.
I'd go 6. Grant Ward.
7.
I'd go 5.5 only because of the amount of games he's played. Scott Sinclair.
7.
7.
I really need to change my Evans score this when I'm looking at this midfield and what I've given him here. I really do. Yeah, I can't go along with that. Yeah, so I need to bump Evans up to something like an 8.5 or something because that is when I'm listing.
Yeah, that's appalling.
Other midfielders, that ain't no good. Yeah.
Yeah. Conte.
7.
I'd say 6. McCormick. Only started six league games.
Yeah, he's not been able to get out there, has he? 4.5.
Yeah, I agree. Aguilera.
4.
I'd say 5.5. Harry Vaughan, 1 start. The most lightweight kiddie I've ever seen in my life. Even at 19 years old, he looks about 12.
2.5.
Yeah, I agree. What score does Collins get? He ain't even a Rovers player, so
yeah.
Well, at Rovers, if I was to give him a Rovers rating, I'd probably say 5.5.
Can't go too far much off of that. Do you know what I mean? Like this season for him was basically as soon as there was wind of an opportunity to go, he wanted to, and you can blame him.
Yeah, it's that Bruno Tonoli in this guy. Jordan Rossiter, 4 games played. What did you say?
In the 4 games he played, he'd be around an 8 or a 9. But considering he's not been out on the pitch, I mean, you can only give him sort of like for the effort and endeavour. Like we were a far better side with him in it. I know we were only be giving numbers, but sort of 4. I don't know. How do you mark Rossiter?
Yeah, it's true in it because that's why I put Grant Ward so low. But yeah, I agree. I'd give him Rossiter a 4. Giovanni Brown, one league goal all season, 2 in all competitions.
1.5. The level of expectation and output, it was crap.
Yeah. I'll say 2.5. I'll give him a 1. 1 more than you. John Marquis.
3.5.
3.5. God, I'd say 5, just because mainly the effort he's shown, even though he's not the best at all. And finally, I think we haven't missed anyone, but finally, Chris Martin.
8.
I'd say 9, only because I know people might say hold up player, whatever, but no one predicted he would score 16 goals. He's been class. But yeah, we are going to end it. Me and Neil both got to go, but thanks to everyone that have listened. Of course, we would have obviously liked to do it more, but yeah, it's getting late and we've both got stuff to do. So hope you have enjoyed it. I know it's been nearly an hour and a half, but If you have enjoyed it, please do like, please do share, please do subscribe if you haven't already. Follow the socials, which are on screen, our Instagram and Twitter of our Talking Gas socials, and feel free to follow us on our normal ones if you haven't already. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it. I know it's a lot of lows and not many highs, even during this season and this, talking about like the players we've just gone through. But yeah, thanks to everyone that's listened and watched. And so yeah, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, leave your comments if you're watching back on the replay. And yeah, we'll let you know. Keep on socials, like I said, for any more uploads, videos, streams, etc. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll see you in a bit. Up the gas.